Hashtag I'm getting it back. Hashtag wealth. Hashtag getting money. What money are we talking about? What bags are we flipping? Like, are we either filling them or are we flipping them over and emptying them?
What do you say to people who say the system's against me? That's why I'm in this financial situation that I'm in now.
Because nobody own the neighborhood that they claiming that they getting tattooed on their face, and don't nobody even own a home on there.
Right. Regardless of what's going on, who's in the White House, who's downtown, we have to focus on winning by any means necessary.
The 3 words I say: listen, learn, activate. So when y'all listen to this, let's do some activation. Let's not just talk about what you learn, the steps of what you hear on social media. It's time for y'all to challenge yourself to activate and do the work if you really want to create wealth.
Welcome back to the Drew Martin Podcast. Today's guest is one of the most influential financial educators in Cleveland. He's a leader in the Black community across the nation. He's a member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. He's built an audience of over 97,000 followers by teaching people how to build wealth and how to avoid costly tax mistakes. Larese Purnell,
I appreciate
welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, man. I'm excited. Look, you had me flying down 77. I'm like, I got to get here, man. Tell me the exit. Let's go. Yeah. And I'm excited to be here, man. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you for coming.
Yes, sir.
For sure. So this isn't going to be the normal educational content. Yes. We're going to be talking about topics that's debated across the country in barbershops and group chats.
Okay, let's go.
So for the people that's watching, you might agree or disagree with our opinions, but the most important thing I want you to do is I hope this interview challenges the way that you think. All right? You ready to jump in?
I'm ready to hit it.
All right, cool. So every generation inherits financial habits, but not all generations question them. So today, what's having a bigger impact on wealth in the Black community? Systematic barriers or our own financial decisions?
It's a couple. That's a good question. It depends on who you're talking to, how they would answer that. And like you said, healthy conversation is good. So please make sure you chime in. I would love to hear different perspectives. But I always say, depending on where I'm at, it really depends on the feedback that I get. But I would say, of course, we know that we've been challenged not to have the same access as other communities. So we have put our money in banks that have always told us no, and we continue to put our money there. So some of that, I always say, sometimes can be our fault because we got to start to make sure that we put our money back into places that actually will help us do the work that we do. But the other thing is, we don't spend the time prioritizing finances. What do they say? They say by the time in our community that people, if they don't learn to read by the time they're in 3rd grade, what's going to happen to them? That they have a better chance of going to prison. It's a part of the prison pipeline. Right. I say the same thing when it comes to money. If we don't teach our kids by the time they're in 3rd grade, they're going to learn how to spend your plastic. They're going to learn how not to save. They're going to learn to watch your bad habits. And then it's going to just continue to be this generational curse in this cycle that will never stop. And the last thing I'm going to say to you is what I say everywhere I go is the table does not exist in our household. And people say, what is a table? What does that mean? Well, you remember how grandma on Sunday, back in the day, we had to sit there and we didn't leave that table until we ate everything on our, like you laughing because you remember that. Yeah, like you gonna eat them green beans. You gonna make sure you eat those rolls. You gonna eat that fried chicken or that baked chicken or whatever was on the plate, that potato salad or whatever. But the reality is we don't do that anymore. So because we've taken that out of our communities in most cases, we let the kids go get the Chick-fil-A and go up in their rooms and sit on those iPads and sit on those game systems and all that, and we don't sit down and have conversations. So we're not talking about money. Right. We're not talking about putting goals in place. We're not talking about how do we build businesses as a family together. So I'm going to say that I think it goes from both ends because we've seen organizations not do our community right, and it has helped to impact the wealth building in our communities. But again, we got to take some responsibility as well because if you are born poor, it's not your fault. But if you die poor, you got to take some responsibility because it is your fault.
For sure. I love that quote, too. And I agree with you. Like, we have history showing us that a lot of banks did redlining, and it may impact some of our abilities to get funding for real estate, which, is like the foundation of generational wealth.
That's right.
And loans. But coming from where I come from inner city Cleveland.
Yes.
I got out the mud myself.
Yeah.
And going to East Tech High School, we didn't learn about finances.
That's right.
But I had the access to the internet, so it was my personal responsibility to educate myself.
Yeah. So we all know they say the average American looks at their phone 300 plus times a day. So it's not that we don't look at these phones, because if I ask the average person that's standing in front of me, how many times do you look up that vacation and spend hours figuring out that TikTok? You know what I'm talking about.
Sure.
So if we're going to go there, let's go there.
Yeah.
How many times you look up the hottest restaurant that has a viral drink, that has a viral food that you're going to make sure you got to take a bite of so you can post that. So we look at what we want to look at.
Right, for sure.
So we got to make sure that we convert that time. And the thing is, I just was speaking somewhere and I told them, hey, look up your screen time. Mm-hmm. And people were like, man, I'm on my phone for 12 hours, 14 hours. Then I asked them, well, how much time you looking up money stuff? How much time you looking up wealth stuff? Mm-hmm. And I grew up in the inner city, 143rd and Kinsman. So again, didn't nobody have no money. Mm-hmm. So, but the reality is we have something more powerful than our grandparents, prior generations. We have that phone that's powerful. Right. So we have access to information. So we got to take some responsibility as well.
Yeah, for sure. That's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot for people to digest. Yeah. And I think it always goes back to personal accountability. That's right. Regardless of what's going on, who's in the White House, who's downtown, we have to focus on winning by any means necessary.
That's right.
And we have the tools to equip ourselves in order to make sure that we have those financial habits.
That's right. And the reality is in most cases, it's not a money issue. It's a mindset issue. It's a discipline issue. Mm-hmm. When we want to get in shape, guess what we do? We go to the gym and we work out. And when we want to get that body right, we get it right? So it's the same thing as when it comes to your money. If you want to get your money right, you got to get disciplined and put the steps in place. It's no such thing as skipping steps. Right. I was walking down an escalator in the airport yesterday, and I thought to myself, if I told my son, he was on there, I said, if I want to get to the bottom right now, we're at the top, and I try to get down to that first step, what would happen to me if I jump down right now? I probably will fall on my face. Well, that's what some of you guys are doing when it comes to your money, is you're skipping a lot of steps and you wonder why you're not getting the results. Because if you do that, what you're going to do, fall flat on your face, and we're doing that with our money. So again, you don't have a money issue. We just got to flip these, y'all. I know y'all it sounds cliche. Oh, that's all I hear online. But no, the three words I say, listen, learn, activate. So when y'all listen to this, let's do some activation. Let's not just talk about what you learn, the steps of what you hear on social media. It's time for y'all to challenge yourself to activate and do the work if you really want to create wealth.
For sure. So what do you say to people? I was in a TikTok community. We was having a conversation, and I'm holding people accountable. And they say, hey, I don't like your delivery. And then they say, well, it's a racism problem because when they look at my application or my zip code indicates that I'm in the inner city or black community. Yeah. What do you say to people who say the system's against me? That's why I'm in this financial situation that I'm in now.
No, and let me say this. You just said you grew up in the inner city, right? Mm-hmm. You told me you went to East Tech. You grew up, and we weren't far from each other where we grew up.
Yeah, I'm on Buckeye.
You on Buckeye? Yeah. Okay, so we was cool back there. I mean, I was from Kinsman, but y'all get it if y'all from Cleveland. Right. But no, so the reality is we both sitting here, and what we did was you just said you got out the mud, right? Mm-hmm. You did the work in order to do that. You didn't let your zip code dictate. Because your family didn't have no money, because they had bad credit, because nobody owned a house, because nobody owned their own car, because nobody owned their own business, it didn't stop you.
Right.
You just told me, hey, business is booming, things are going well from you. So you didn't let where you grew up because nobody owned the neighborhood that they claiming, that they getting tattooed on their face, and don't nobody even own a home on there.
Right, for sure.
So let's talk real. And my cousins, my family, I've been consistent talking this message. And the reality is I never let that be, because we should want to be better than every generation. Right. We cannot always say, well, they holding me down. This organization is whole, because there's options. And if y'all listen to me, we got the largest black owned and operated credit union right there on 93rd and Union. called Faith Community United Credit Union. And in most rooms, I ask people if they ever heard of it, and they say, well, I'm trying to build wealth. I'm trying to go and bank with who I can bank with that looks like me. Mm-hmm. But you don't even know the place in your own zip code, in your own area. Mm-hmm. So again, what work are you doing to change that?
Yeah.
So we can't keep talking about it. Hashtag I'm getting a bag. Hashtag wealth. Hashtag getting money. What money are we talking about? What bags are we flipping? Like, are we either filling them or are we flipping them over and emptying them? Right. So we got to take some accountability. And that's this constant theme I want y'all to hear: accountability, because there's resources out here for us. We just got to know how to get to them.
Absolutely. I'm glad you like that, man.
Look.
I'm glad that you like that.
Yeah.